What should be the main event of WrestleMania 38 Night One? Or who should be the main event of WrestleMania Night One? I am Luke Owen at DAD, and I'm joined, as always, on this Friday Team Danuke show by the hardest working person in all of sports infotainment. You may know her from Fightful. You may know her from her own channel, Instinct Culture. You may know her from this podcast or that new WWE show about bad guys that was on last night. You kept that one quiet. It's Denise Salcedo. How's it going, Denise?
I like how you're like, you kept that one quiet. I told you, Luke.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I totally did.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, I did.
No, you did not.
I said I am going to be busy on, I don't even think I came in that day to wrestle. No, wait, that was on a Tuesday. Maybe I didn't tell you.
You did not tell me. You told me about some things, but that was not one of them.
I didn't mention a docuseries?
No, you did not.
Oh, I thought I told you. Apologies. My bad. I knew I told somebody, but now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I think that was on Tuesday. Never mind. Well, the point is I did tell somebody.
So how was the filming of that? You were the first episode was on last night.
Yeah, well, actually, they're all out right now. Like, you can watch them all on the Peacock. I don't know how the situation is on the network, but so I filmed those back in November of last year, and it was at Beanham and Murray in like a studio in Los Angeles, and they had me come in, and basically they told me like, you're gonna be talking about like Randy and Sasha Banks and Stephanie, and I was there for like 2 hours, okay? But you know how it is, like they interview you for like a long time, and then you get like 2 seconds in on like an actual documentary, because obviously they interview like a lot of people and then just take like whatever fits into what the story that they're trying to tell. So I think I got like 2 parts in the Randy documentary and like 2 parts in the Sasha Banks. I didn't see anything in the Stephanie one, but I haven't watched the entire thing. Like I just kind of skimmed, but I don't think I'm in that one, but I did shoot footage for it. So I was there for like 2 hours recording footage and whatnot, but it was pretty fun. It was a fun experience. It was just like a bunch of questions and just, answering it. So there was like a lot more that I said that just didn't air.
I just checked. It's not on the UK version of the WWE network. So it looks like it's a Peacock only thing.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Well, that makes sense because they're promoting it that way. They're like WWE Evil on the Peacock. So I wasn't sure if it was going to come out on the network or not. This seems like a Peacock only thing.
Yeah, I didn't really know what the show was. I just woke up this morning and I just saw a lot of people sharing pictures of Denise Salcedo being like, oh, well, look, Denise is on this WWE show.
Oh, man, you hadn't heard of the show yet?
Not
they
really,
announced it like 2 weeks ago, or no, like 3 weeks ago.
So it's a show. It's a show about I do my intro for you. I think of what my intro is going to be pretty much just before we go live. And I was like, oh, right, I'll mention that show that she did. And then I was like, I don't know what the name of the show is. So I'll just say it's that WWE show about baddies, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. It's about heels.
WWE
right?
Evil. So it's about like evil personas in wrestling. Yeah.
Cool. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Denise. If it comes here, I will watch it. Otherwise, maybe I'll find another way to watch it. I'll use my VPN and I'll watch it that way.
There you go. Exactly.
There's a few people in the chat who are saying that my guest this week has fallen through. I teased something on yesterday's AEW show that has not paid off. And I would like well, what I said was there may be a guest on today's show, but it's far from confirmed that it probably isn't going to happen. So
who was it supposed to be? Do I know this person?
No, I mean, I will message you in the private chat who it is, because they will be on the show at some point.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
really?
Yes, at some point, yes. But as currently, far from confirmed. So we're going through the process of things.
You know who we need on that show, by the way.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know exactly.
Yeah.
Who we need on that show, by the way. Don't worry.
I was going to say, you need to make sure that person is here.
Yeah. That person is aware.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure.
No,
well, I hate to disappoint everybody that came in here thinking like, I don't know how you promoted it on the show.
I didn't promote anything. I literally said, like, I wasn't even going to say anything. And then all of a sudden, Ollie at the end of the show was like, do you want to tease who's on the show tomorrow? And I was like, they might not be on the show tomorrow, so let's not. But yeah, so it's not. It is half confirmed. We're just waiting to sort some things out.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. That should be interesting when it does happen.
When it does happen. Anywho, so we're here to talk about WWE WrestleMania. Denise Salcedo, you're going to be there next weekend in Dallas. Are you excited for WrestleMania?
I'm too stressed out to be excited, to be honest. Like, in all fairness, there's just so much going on that week, and I'm probably like the worst person to ask, just because like every day I'll be working on something, so I have more of like this cloud of stress over my head where it's like, okay, this day's about that, this day's about this day's about that. But come WrestleMania is the least of my worries, it's the least of my concerns, because that's just the day where I show up, I sit down, and I watch the show. So personally, I am looking forward to WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2 because I get to chill and just watch the show. That should be a good time. You know, there's so many matches that have been announced. I don't even think I know them all by heart. Like, there's only like a few where I'm like, okay, like this is the ones that I remember the most. And then there's a bunch of them that I'm like, oh yeah, that's happening too. But I'm looking forward to it. You know, I've been to AT&T Stadium. It's pretty awesome stadium, you know, pretty huge to be in there. I've been to WrestleMania in Dallas before, in Arlington, and it's an interesting week. It's fun. I'm hoping I get to go down to the rodeo, but I doubt it. It's not going to fit in my schedule. So once again, I get screwed out of the rodeo going in Fort Worth, Texas. But anyways, the point is, I'll be in Texas for like a full week.
Yeah, I about to ask that because this shows my lack of Dallas and WrestleMania knowledge. But this is not the same place that the last Dallas WrestleMania was in, right?
No, it's the same place. Yeah.
Oh, is it the same building?
Yeah, it's the same building. I
It's like
think,
it didn't. Then that one
yeah,
had
it's the
like
same building.
that one had like over 100,000 people there, right?
Dude, I'm pretty positive it's the same building. If not, then I'll just feel dumb. But AT&T Stadium. Let me look at a picture. Yeah, it's the same building, AT&T Stadium.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to check because we're going to talk about the ticket sales for the show in just a little bit. Because I was reading through the Observer today, and the question came up about who is going to main event night 1 of WrestleMania 38. Night 2 is set. That is Roman versus Brock title unification. That is very much set. Also on night 2 is RK Bro versus Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits for the Raw tag titles. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. And the women's tag title 4-way match. And Meltzer writes here, the Seth Rollins storyline is listed as ending up with a match with Cody Rhodes, which given the respective lineups at this stage would make the most sense for the Sunday. So that is likely going to be on the Sunday as well. But when it comes to night 1, that's still up in the air. So night 1 is Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair for the SmackDown Women's Championship, Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship, Edge versus AJ Styles, the Usos versus Nakamura and Boogs, the Mysterios versus Logan Paul and The Miz, Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, and the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So here is what Meltzer had to write. There were reports this week that the Austin Owens segment would end the show. According to those in WWE, as of midweek, Flair versus Rousey was scheduled to close the show, but it was also noted that match order changes frequently and will continue to change until the day of the show. The only thing locked from the start has been Reigns versus Lesnar closing Sunday. It would go against tradition to have a non-title match go last, but if you think about it, the Owens-Austin segment probably should go last because it would be the biggest thing on the show and be expected to get the best reaction. Putting it in the middle would peak the show early, and putting it next to last would risk having people leave or heat being down for the Flair versus Rousey match, especially if it's late. Now, Denise Salcedo, I've gone through the list there. You just heard Meltzer's argument for perhaps the Owens-Austin segment main eventing. Where do you stand on this?
Okay, so like looking at this like day 1 card and what's been announced and whatnot, for me, I get the KO segment going last just because of Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? We all get that argument, but I do kind of feel like it's a little weird with that going last and it not being like an actual matchup. It would be like, it would take, I think, the viewers and maybe me even just a second to get like accustomed to something like that. I don't think that it should be Charlotte or Ronda. I just don't think that match is hot enough. The storytelling has been just like, okay, I feel like it's one of those matches where you know you're getting it, so it's just you've like settled, like, okay, you're getting it. Okay, fine. But I just feel like Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair is just such a bigger deal than Charlotte and Ronda that I see that one as more of like, if we're going to be arguing about like what should be the main event, I think it should be Becky and Bianca. Like, they're the ones with an actual story. They're the feud that feels hot to me. So personally, I think that should be the main event. But if it's not that, like the other option is Edge, AJ Styles, I just don't think it should be Charlotte and Ronda.
Yeah, I get you what you're saying, because it has been a lackluster feud. But then again, like, so was Belair Banks last year, and it was the main event, and it was an incredible main event in the end. One of my favorite WrestleMania main events, really. But I totally get what you mean. Like, it's such a cold feud at the moment, whereas I think Becky Belair has been a much hotter feud. My wife, before I came up to record this, my wife asked me, what's the topic today? And I told her, and I kind of ran through the options. And she said, as someone who knows nothing about wrestling, Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey should be the main event because they're the two most recognizable names. And I was like,
well, yeah, that's definitely
yeah,
true, especially given Ronda Rousey's name. Like, if you're going to point it out
that's
to like
right.
somebody who doesn't know anything about wrestling, Ronda Rousey, you're going to be like, well, that's the match with her in it. That should be the main event. Yeah. So I completely like agree with her from the sense of like coming in here as a person that may not know, you know?
Yeah, and I get it as well. As a few people are pointing out in the comments as well, it would honor the Royal Rumble stipulation. She won the Royal Rumble. She gets to main event WrestleMania. With that said, WrestleMania has like 5 main events at this point. So it's always like, it's just one of the main events on this card. With regards to the Austin Kevin Owens thing, if it were a match, if it was actually the match that they wanted it to be, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin's first match in 19 years, 100% I say it should close the show. Totally get that from an argument. But a talk show main eventing WrestleMania, I've got zero interest in watching a talk show segment main event a wrestling pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. It's a little weird, but if you think about it too, like Austin's going to get the biggest pop of the night, right? So,
Mhm.
like, the entire time, people would be like, all right, like, instead of going, there's people that go home during the main event because they don't want to get stuck in the parking lot. They don't want to have to be dealing with all of that. You don't want like a million people trying to all get an Uber at the same time. Like, it's kind of hectic. So, a lot of times I've seen people like, they'll leave before the show is over. I don't think people are going to leave if they haven't seen Austin yet.
Well, to your point there. So, looking at the ticket sales for night one, 60,500 tickets have been sold for night one
How
compared to the
much?
60,500 tickets have been sold. They're set up for 65,000 in the building. Night two has sold 58,500. So, like, night one is ahead of night two. And Meltzer writes here that it's because of Austin. So he writes here, even with it being announced weeks ahead on the Sunday, if it were, where's the quote I'm looking for? It's been a very slightly ahead in sales, and even in the secondary market, and this was the case before Austin was announced. The announcement of Austin has shown movement of tickets as day one is now further in front than day two. It is very clear, based on ticket selling patterns, the tickets were bought for WrestleMania, but none of the matches actually announced have been needle movers. If they were, night one would have outdistanced the other sales and increased the pace of sales when the big matches were announced. That didn't happen for Reigns versus Lesnar or Rousey versus Flair. The only thing that has really shown a little bit of change is the Austin announcement. So, to your point there, like, people are going to this show to see Stone Cold Steve Austin, and if he is the biggest draw of the night, then yeah, he should be the main event.
Now, here's the thing, too. I'm looking at night two's card, and it does not look that solid, man. Like, I would probably, like, let's say I wanted to, like, the only match here that I have, like, interest in is literally Brock and Roman, right? Like, that would be the one out of all of those that you'd be most interested in. I can't imagine buying tickets for night two of a card that's not that great just to watch a match that I've already seen. And
Yeah.
that's like one of the problems. Like when you look at that, and I'm thinking, like, because I've always thought, it's weird that like okay, let's just say like if I'm going to WrestleMania, like let's just say I'm like not covering this or anything, and I say, hey, I'm going to WrestleMania, I'm gonna go to both nights. Like I never gotten like people that just go to one night or just go to two night. Like I gotta do both, and that's it. Like if I'm going, I'm doing both, right? So I've never gotten that. But like let's say I had a choice, I would probably just gone to like night one because there you go. Like you have, Becky and Bianca, which is what I want to see. Edge and oh man, I was gonna say what else do I want to see? Edge and AJ. I'm like, all right, those are like Edge and AJ, Charlotte and Ronda. Those are the three biggest matches of the night. So it's like night two really needs something else, like something big. And I know we mentioned the whole, Seth Rollins, possibly Cody Rhodes thing happening on night two. Oh God, they need it so bad for night two.
They really, really do. And that's kind of what Meltzer's writing here. Like it's all WWE sources. This is directly from the Observer. All WWE sources indicate the belief that that the deal is done and the match is happening, and that any suggestion it isn't is not the case. Those who are close to the situation who are suggesting otherwise, but one person in WWE called that silliness at this point. Obviously from television this week, the angle hasn't changed at all, and the key thing on the show is that Rollins' inability to get on WrestleMania. And there's also, this is a very interesting point. This is something that Sean sort of teased on the Fightful Raw review that you guys did. This is from WrestleVotes. Two very high-profile people were adamant to the boss that when Cody Rhodes arrives, he should be exactly what he was in AEW. Presentation, ring gear, theme music, pyro, etc. The visual impact of the American Nightmare crossing the line is significant here.
It definitely is significant. And this is really the opportunity that WWE has been like waiting for. But this is going to be like a real test. Like, are they going to actually let Cody be Cody? Because you never know. Like, he could get there and Vince will be like, I don't get it. I don't see the star in this guy. Like he may not see it. And so, like, that is going to be interesting to see how they actually present him. And they might present him very well in the beginning, whatever, coming into WrestleMania and all of that. But who knows what it's going to look like down the road in like 2 months even.
That's what I was saying this on the Patreon mailbag show I did with Dan Layton yesterday, that it's not a case of Mania. It's not even a case of the Raw after Mania. I'm looking at the Raw or SmackDown in 6 weeks' time. Where's Cody there? Like, what does that look like for Cody Rhodes then in WWE? I think that will be like a real good litmus test of what we can expect to see from Rhodes in his WWE return.
But I also do feel like he's coming in at a good time, though, because who else is there? Like, they haven't been, like, really pushing anybody in terms of, like, challengers and whatnot, creating, obviously we can argue the whole creating stars thing. That's, a whole argument that's been done and drawn out already. But it's like I feel like Cody is coming in at a good time to be considered, one of the main event guys, like with, his name and everything that he did after he left WWE and all of that. But also just right now, there's an opening. There's an opening for somebody to, essentially grab the brass ring and, do something with it. So I am interested to see how it's going to work out. I'm excited. And I really do hope that it happens for night two, because other than that, there's nothing else. Like I'm looking at these matches. This could have easily been one night WrestleMania, like a 6-card, like they could have even done like 8 matches and that's it. Like there's so many of these matches that I don't even need to see happening on either night.
Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin, I could really do without that.
I think this is like the 5th time. And here's the thing, like their matches haven't been terrible, like they haven't been bad. They've been like solid little matches, but we should not be seeing this match for like the 3rd time now. I think this is the 3rd pay-per-view that this has been on. Like that's not a WrestleMania match. That wasn't even, God, what was the 1st pay-per-view that they did it on? I forgot what it was, but it wasn't even for that pay-per-view either. And I'm like, damn. And that was like, a lesser pay-per-view than WrestleMania. So it's like,
did they have a match at day one?
Yeah, there you go. Day one. That's what it was. Day one. That's the first one that they had. And then they had another one. And the one where he landed. Oh, Crown Jewel, right?
Yeah,
Crown Jewel?
That was against the other lads. Madcap Moss.
Yeah. Okay, never mind. So there you go. But still. And then this match here. So in terms of like, it's not going to be like a bad match. It's just going to be a little, it's just going to be there,
That's here is my one positive I can say about 2-night WrestleMania. I don't know if I love 2-night WrestleMania in the same way that I didn't love 2-night Wrestle Kingdom. But my one positive I can say is that it is currently being reported that the show is only 3 hours long.
That's nice. It's nice. Yes.
With a 2-hour pre-show. So it's 5 hours, but 3-hour main card. I am all in for that, because when I think back to like WrestleMania 35 and that show was 7 hours long with the pre-show, I was so done by that main event. But if it's a 3-hour card, I am going to be right there, and I'm going to be much more awake than I would have been had it been a 7-hour show.
Yeah, I get it. Like I told you, like for me, I haven't had an issue with it because I was at those shows, and maybe I just had like different experiences where I would get there. See, like you gotta understand, like when you're there, it's entirely different, I think. Like, yeah, obviously you do get tired as a crowd, like that's bound to happen. That happened to me at Revolution. I was tired and there were some bangers after bangers. But at some point, it doesn't matter, because at some point when the show gets too long, like you'll have those moments where you're like, all right, I'm gonna start looking around and see what people are doing. Right. Because I'm starting to feel a little tired here. And especially if you're not sitting next to anybody that you can talk to, like that's something of a little, that could be a thing, you know? But like usually for WrestleMania, like for me, it's a little bit different because I get there and I socialize, you know, I have like the social hour, you know, and so it's a little bit different. And, you know, the setup for media is a little bit different too. So I get to, you know, be on my computer and whatnot. So that obviously makes a change in, you know, what I'm doing. And also, you know, I'm working, but so it's different for like, for me going there, and then maybe for like your like regular person going to the event. But I also felt like last time, because I was at WrestleMania 35, and when I went into the crowd, like it was, I would say like half and half. Like there was people that were still like up and energetic, and I think there was other people that were more so stressed about transportation, and then there was other people that were like, fuck it, like we're here already, like that's it, you know? No, you didn't hear that. You didn't hear that.
Yeah,
no,
I
you
did.
Didn't. You did not hear anything. There's people that were like, screw it, we're here already, let's finish out this show.
Can I just quickly check something? Is it your birthday today?
My birthday?
Yeah.
Ew, I would not be a March baby.
Ew. My wife's born in March.
Oh, sorry, March babies. So is my grandma, actually, and my 2 aunties.
Ew.
But no, I would not be a March birthday, okay?
Okay, just checking. Then because
and by my attitude, you should know that I'm a Taurus. Why would you think it's my birthday today? I wouldn't come on to the show looking like this on my birthday.
Well, I did think, I was like, I could have sworn it's not Denise's birthday today, but SP3 came into the chat today and called you his birthday twin. And I was like, is it SP3's birthday? In which case, if it is, that means it's also Denise's birthday.
I would have told you something. I would have came on here looking all cute and stuff, you know? Like, you got to go a little extra for your birthday. No, my birthday's till May.
Yeah,
May 18, Luke.
I thought it was May. I was thinking about like, mine,
December. December. See? I know you're December 14th, December 18th.
It's 14th.
Wow. Now we know who the real friend here is.
I was sat here thinking, it is not Denise's birthday today. Then a few people were saying happy birthday to SP3, and I was like, have I lost months in my life and I've just forgotten when it is? But I was right. It's okay.
Please. I am a bull through and through. So please, no. Maybe
anyway,
Taurus.
I mean, for me, like in response to your sort of the point you're making about WrestleMania and that tiredness and things like that, when we watch it here in the UK, it is early in the morning. Like,
what
you know,
time does it start for you?
So usually the main card starts at midnight. And then if it's a 5-hour show,
no wonder you're always tired.
Well, exactly
you right. So about that too. A 7-hour show for you, and it starts at midnight. Well, that makes more sense now. I'm like, it's not that bad.
Dude, it is tiring.
Well,
actually,
if I was watching at midnight, are you kidding me? I would not watch the show. I would wait till the next day.
When we did Revolution, it was like the main card started at 1 a.m.
Oh God, no.
And then it's a 4-hour show. And we were like, oh my God, I'm so tired already.
That's it. Make Revolution 2 nights.
Or just do it earlier in the day. Make it an afternoon show. It'd be much easier on me.
Well, I wouldn't mind it. Like if it will actually, no, keep it the hour it is, because here in the West Coast, I watch at like 5.
But what the thing is, like, I'm looking forward to WrestleMania because I get to hang out with my friends. Like, it is me, it's Sullivan, it is Pete, and it's Andy on night 1.
I bet you know all their birthdays.
I don't know when Sullivan's is.
Oh, so you know everybody else's birthday?
No, do I even know when Andy's is? Hold on. I've got it written down somewhere.
No, you have to know this stuff. I knew your birthday by memory.
Yeah, but you're a better person than I am.
Thank you. It's finally been established.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm on team in my inbox. Andy's is in June. Pete's is in August. Adams is also in August. There you go. Got
Okay,
it.
well, make sure to put Denise there. May.
Hold on. Okay.
May
Denise
18.
birthday.
You know, I know like 50 people that were born on my birthday, by the way. I once dated a guy who shared my same birthday. It was so weird because we'd call each other and be like, happy birthday, happy birthday. It was so weird.
Two of my friends who got married a couple of years ago were born an hour apart from each other.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's really something.
So yeah, I get to hang out with my friend and I'm going to watch WrestleMania and I'm going to have a grand old time. But like you, night one is a way better night than night two. Like night two, I'm looking at it. The thing I'm looking forward to the most is Seth versus Cody. It sure as hell ain't.
And it's not even on there. We don't even know for sure.
Yet. It sure as heck ain't that women's tag title match. Could not give a flying flip. It ain't Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. That triple threat tag match is going to be great. And I love Johnny Knoxville, but I'm worried about him getting in a wrestling ring. So I am excited to see Cody versus Seth. And that is more just so I can see Cody go back to WWE.
So let me ask you a question. Let's just say that, you know, things happen, right?
And he doesn't go back?
And it doesn't happen. How would you feel knowing that you kind of already got your hopes up?
Man, like I have no idea because there's not a lot going on in night two. Like, and I'm not into Brock versus Roman. Like, I think it makes sense that has not been a needle mover in terms of ticket sales. I think that totally makes sense because we've seen it a bunch in the last 6 months. I am unsurprised that it is not the big needle ticket selling mover that they thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, that's no surprise whatsoever. And like the whole title versus title thing, like it wasn't going to make like, I wasn't going to be like, oh my God, well, they're doing it title for title. You know, that wasn't going to happen.
Do you know why? I can tell you for why. I guarantee you, I guarantee you there'll be a new title in the summer. They will have a unified title for about 3 months. Come SummerSlam, whichever brand doesn't have a belt will have a new world title on it.
Yeah. See, like we already know, like this isn't a long-term thing.
Hey, no way is it a long-term thing. This is done to try and sell tickets, and it ain't working. Other matches rumored for WrestleMania as well. Finn Balor versus Damian Priest for the US title was scheduled, but apparently it's not official. So that might not end up being on the WrestleMania card.
That would actually be like a good, like, what do you call it? Like sleeper matches, the ones that you're like sleep on or whatever.
But they're going to for a second. Then
that'd
be a good bathroom break match.
Like they're really good. Like what's the term again? Sleeper matches?
Yeah, like a sleeper hit.
Yeah, like the ones that you think like, oh, you're not going to be really into, and then all of a sudden it's going to be like a banger. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and apparently there's nothing planned for Ricochet as IC champion, but the other match that is currently listed is Omos versus Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah, I saw that actually. Wasn't Sean? Didn't he put it out on Fightful Select? Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, Sean reported that. And yeah, Meltzer is now saying that it is listed internally Omos versus Bobby Lashley, but there is a caveat. Meltzer writes here. Obviously, Lashley did not undergo major shoulder surgery, as was feared from his injury suffered in the match with Lesnar at the Royal Rumble, or he wouldn't be ready. However, the injury was serious enough that he hasn't wrestled since and is not cleared at this point. We were told that this match is on, provided Lashley can get cleared. If not, then plans will have to change. So yeah,
it all depends. Interesting.
Go on.
Because I feel like this match was created to make Omos into a star, like because they've been booking him like not badly for him, right on there. But I can't buy him defeating Bobby Lashley. I can't buy it. But who knows? They had him beat Apollo Crews and Commander Aziz in one night.
I think that if this match goes on, it's to give Lashley the win. I think it is. I hope
so.
Yeah, I think it's for
Lashley. At the same time, it's like they've done all this work with Omos.
I think that they are looking to turn Lashley babyface, and this will be the way to turn him babyface. And it'll be because they've been doing all those video packages from like he was in the army, cheer him. And I think that this will be the stepping stone for that. He'll be the first guy to take him off his feet. He'll hit the spear on him and then lock in. I don't know whether they would have him tap out to the hurt lock, but I certainly think that he will beat Amos if this match happens.
Right. I would, yeah, I don't know. I can't see him tapping out to the hurt lock. They would just be like, he'd be so big, man. You probably wouldn't even see Bobby Lashley behind there. Who was it? He put the hurt lock on. I think it was Brock, or was somebody that he put the hurt lock on, and you couldn't even see Bobby Lashley behind him because he was so big. It might have been Brock.
And just to wrap things up, there is no talk of the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal currently.
Well, I mean, all the women are pretty much already in matches. You got that
tag match.
Fatal 4-Way tag team match has like pretty much like the entire women's roster in it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's pretty much the reason why is there aren't enough women to facilitate a women's battle royal. However, Meltzer writes here, the last we heard about the Andre the Giant men's battle royal was a few weeks ago. At that time, it was probably going to take place on the SmackDown show in Dallas, although there is a possibility it could be on the Raw in Pittsburgh, which will be this coming Monday's Raw.
Sure. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I had Amos down to win that before the Lashley match was rumored. I thought you'd give Amos the big WrestleMania Battle Royal win.
I think I've always missed the Battle Royal. I don't remember watching the Battle Royal very often. I feel like that's the match I'm always like just getting in the building for. Like I'd pop in, I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of people. All right, let's go see what's going on.
Before we get into your Ultra Chats, Mod Mother, can I make a request? Can we put a poll up here on the WrestleTalk Podcast live chat? Because I'm curious to see what everyone else thinks should main event WrestleMania Night One. So should it be the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin? Should it be Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair? Or should it be Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair? For my money, it should be Flair versus Rousey. That is where my heart lies. I think it should be that match. While I don't think it is going to be the biggest and best match possible, like it feels like it's the biggest match they have on paper on that night. So it's also honoring the WrestleMania thing, the Royal Rumble thing, and I think in WWE's mind that is the biggest match on night one. Had it been Steve Austin wrestling, 100%, but it isn't. It's a talk show. I don't think it should be the main event. What about you? Final thoughts on it?
I agree with you. If it would have been a match for Austin, I would put that one as the main event. But if it's just a talk show, then I'm going to stick with Bianca and Becky.
Well, let's see what you've got to say about this in the Ultra Chat. Get your Ultra Chat into WrestleTalk.com/support. And hey, while you're clicking links, why not click the link and get yourself a copy of the digital version of the WrestleTalk magazine for just one great British pound. That's all. Just one great British pound. Fantastic offer. So please do click the links. Get yourself, not my microphone, not my camera even. Get yourself a digital copy of the WrestleTalk magazine. Laksimham Narasimham B said, considering that Brock versus Roman is going to close night 2, it should be Becky versus Bianca on night 1. But I guess creative could go Bianca's redemption arc, but KO has heat with Texas. That's a good point as well. It's not just going to be the Austin pop, is it? It's probably going to be the Texas heat that KO gets.
This could be interesting too, because for WrestleMania, you have a lot of people coming from like all over the place. So I'm curious, like, what is the percentage of people that are not from Texas and then the people from Texas? Like, no offense, but I ain't gonna boo the hell out of Kevin Owens. I don't give a damn about Texas. I'm just gonna show up and be like, all right, it's Kevin Owens, So like, I feel like the fly-ins are, if you want to pretend you're from Texas for the night, sure, but like I ain't gonna be passionately booing Kevin Owens because I ain't from Texas.
I thought I wasn't around for the earlier part of this week because I was filming a super secret project.
So you don't tell me about your super secret projects, huh?
Well, that's only because I don't think you would care about this super secret project. Like, I'll happily tell you when we finish, but I don't think you'll really care much. So I didn't see Raw at all. I just listened to your and Sean's review and Going in Raw's review. But I did see the Kevin Owens thing, and I thought it was pretty great. I thought his mannerisms when he was doing the entrance was superb, and like the proper trolling of the crowd who thought they were getting Austin. And then it was a bit like when CM Punk came dressed out as Jeff Hardy, like after winning the title. Like, so yeah, there was some stuff that I thought was really, really great. But that's literally the only thing I have seen, and I haven't even seen the promo. I've literally just watched the entrance.
Man, yeah, you're fine. You're fine. You don't have to be like, oh, you know what? I missed the show. You know, the one time I missed Raw like a couple months ago, I didn't even really like watch it or anything. I was just like, all right, cool. Hop in the next week, see what I missed. I didn't miss anything.
Yep, I guarantee you, I'm going to tune in on Monday or Tuesday morning, and I don't think I will have missed a single thing.
No, and even if you did, you'll get a replay.
Yeah, I mean, was Seth AJ any good?
Yeah, it was good, actually. It was good. Yeah, it was fine. It was good.
Unsurprising. Nate S. said, if the KO show with Stone Cold Steve Austin closes the show and there isn't a match, do you think there will be a risk of, is that it? Leaving night one. Like, it's always cool to see Stone Cold hit a stunner and drink a beer, but it seems the hype is more than that. That is such a good point as well. Like, if it is that just a talk show and it's just Austin comes down, they do some local town heat, Austin hits the stunner and drinks the beer, is that the best way to end out a show? Like, I will feel like, cool. Is that it though?
That's what I'm saying. We're not used to it.
Yeah,
they can do it. I mean, you know, if they were going to do this in someplace else, it might be like just that's it. But who knows? Maybe it'll just hit different in Texas. Obviously, with Austin.
I love the fact that they're still promoting it as if it is a match. Like,
it's weird the way that they've been promoting it. I'm like, I don't care what it is. Just tell me what it is. Like, I don't want to be fooled or I don't want to get my hopes up. None of that. I just want to go in, see what I'm supposed to see, and that's it. When
Kevin Owens challenged him to come to WrestleMania, and then Corey Graves was like, "It's been 19 years."
Right? I was saying the same thing. Like, why are you promoting that so much?
He was on Raw 2 years ago. He was on WrestleMania only a few years before that.
Yeah, that was weird. That was the one thing that got me thinking, like, because he really was like 19 years. I'm like, but we've seen him. Like, we've seen him. Like, you can't, like, if it would be different, like, if right away you guys promoted that this as a match and then you were like 19 years, I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Yeah, 19 years. But the way it's just been weird. And then, like, even the whole, like, it's just been weird.
The Grizzly Gentleman discussing Cody in the office. I offered my take that maybe the whole undesirable to undeniable thing was always about going back to WWE, like a kid trying to get the respect and acceptance of a tough parent. Probably a way of, but fun to possibly think about. I think there was even a report that said like Cody wanted to prove that he can make it in WWE, and that is why he's going back.
Yeah, I think I said that on some podcast, like just, proving that you are a star.
Yeah. That's a shame. I really think like everything.
No, really? Because I also feel like, here's the thing, like everybody has a different career trajectory and everybody defines success as something different. Like, well, for, for like, I don't know what you define success as, but I know what I define success as may not be what the next person is. So like for Cody, it might be just like, you know what? I want to be a star in the biggest company. WWE is still the biggest company. Okay, I want to be a star there. That may be what his term of idea of success is. I don't know.
It's just
like I haven't interviewed Cody. I can't tell you that.
Everything that he was doing from 2016 onwards, like, and then to just do all of that and then be like, but I still need to go back there. It just seems so weird. Seems like just a weird thing to do.
People are different, Luke. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, there's so many like think about all the times when like you see people that are not booked well and they re-sign with the company and you're like, why? You could have gone out and been this and that. Well, you know what? Money talks. So like people have different things of what they just determine as success and what they want in their lives. So whether it be power, like star power, creative, just a paycheck, long-term, security with money. I don't know.
10 Rosa here. I'm not a reviewer and not watching everything. I would love a 5 to 6 hour one-day WrestleMania. Make it feel like the Super Bowl. Love the pomp and circumstance. It's sad that I'm more interested in what the stage and stadium looks like than the show itself. Please talk more about how the real main event of that weekend is Super Card of Honor. That and Double or Nothing are the things I'm looking forward to the most. If KO closes night one, think about night one as part one, then an intermission, and then night two as part two. That's a hell of a long intermission right there.
Yeah, it is.
However, Tenra's has got a point though, Denise. AEW payrolls, Denise Salcedo. 10, that is Supercard of Honor on the Friday beforehand.
Yeah, so I'm excited for the show. It should be a good time. I have no idea what to like really expect, but you know what? For me, I'm showing up, gonna do whatever I'm told to do, and have a good time.
Just like the AEW shill that you are.
You know what's funny? So like I have a little story here, and I'll share it. This is my little I don't know what to call it. So here, this is what happened. So like I was booked for the show, right? Like ahead of the purchase and everything. And then the purchase was made, right? And everybody kept asking me, like, hey, Denise, like, are you still on the show? And I thought, well, I mean, like, they already booked me. And like, I already said no to like a bunch of other stuff now. Like, you're stuck with me, right? And then, like, as the weeks progressed, I started to think, man, am I booked for this show? I don't even know. So I had to go and put on my little investigator hat and go and ask people until finally I reached out to the right person and was like, hey, like this is what's going on. I just, am I booked on this show? And so like as of like 3 days ago, I'm officially for sure booked on the show.
Hold the phone. So it's been 3 days since it's been fully confirmed. Have you been planning? Like, am I really still?
Well, because I thought like, okay, like they already announced it, so I'm booked for the show. But then afterwards, like it started to get in my head where I was like, maybe I'm not booked anymore. Like maybe things changed. Like no one has told me anything. What's happening? So finally I was like, okay, I need to find out what is going on here. So yeah.
Well,
no,
good.
I don't have to worry. My whole plan was just going to be to show up.
Yeah, you're just going to show up and just be like, do you still need me?
Like, yeah, I'm here to work, man.
Sheldon Jackson with a very interesting question here, which is, let's not talk about the main event. What match would you have open both nights of WrestleMania?
Ooh, that's a funner question. Yeah, I like that. Okay, let's see. Night one. Yeah, sorry, funner. Night one. I would probably, this is hard. This is very hard. Okay, I'm going to go all out. If Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair isn't the main event, I'm going to go with it opening the show for night one.
The KO show with Steve Austin.
Okay, you're really going all out.
I would open with it. Like, give the people, like, if there are people that have bought tickets just for that and then they're going to leave afterwards, I've already got their ticket money, so I may as well just open with it and have them out the door.
Yeah, but then it'll be sad because then if people leave and you're in the main event and everybody's just like,
yeah, but like I'm trying to think what else. Like Edge versus AJ, maybe I think it would be like a really good like work rate match. But I
just feel like that belongs somewhere else on the show. I can't not the opener.
Because it's not going to be the Usos, because that's your bathroom break match.
Yeah, no. And Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin, I'd be like, oh.
Yeah, and then, like those are your spacer matches. Those are the ones to like space between the actual big matches.
Right. And then your Logan Paul Miz match, since that's your celebrity match, that's going to go somewhere else in the show. So it really is only like you either go all out or you give a weak start with Happy Corbin, Drew McIntyre.
Eesh, man, could you imagine? Yeah, Ray and Dom versus Logan Paul and Miz. I'm sure some people care. I'm not one of them.
Me either. I'm yawning just thinking about it. Night two, what do you think?
I'm opening with that tag team triple threat match because that is going to be like the big explosive high spot match. And I think that you can do that and then maybe do the women's four-way to like bring everyone down because it probably ain't going to be that great.
I agree with you. It's got to be the tag match. Like I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, you got a celebrity match with Pat McAfee. You got a celebrity match with Johnny Knoxville. The women's match has got to be somewhere else in the card. And I mean, granted, there's still matches we don't know where they're going to be at, but based on what we know so far, it's got to be the tag match.
Yeah, like if Balor Priest gets confirmed, that'd be a pretty good one to open with on night two. Seth Cody, I think you'd probably want to save a little bit. And you do not want to be opening with a Moss Bobby Lashley.
Oh my God. Oh, wait, never mind.
What are you
I
going
had
to
an
say?
idea, but then I remembered that night 2, we already have a main event. Well, let's just say like not because I was gonna say like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if like at the end of the show, Seth Rollins comes out and is just like, I didn't have a match. I need to have a match. We're not leaving. Nobody's going home until I have a match.
Do you know what? I'd love that. If we then think that like
Right?
Brock and Roman is the main event, and we're like, wow, they didn't do the Seth Rollins Cody Rhodes thing, and then Seth comes out afterwards, that would be awesome.
Yeah, like now. And he was throwing that tantrum on Monday and freaking out and throwing things and all of that. So like maybe he can come in at the end of like he could come in sporadically, right? Like on first night, second night, all pissed, trying to get a match. Then at the end of the show, you think it's over. It's not over. Don't go home yet. Wait, you're not leaving till I get my match.
I didn't get my match. Where's my WrestleMania?
Yeah,
moment?
and then
Yeah,
Sonya and
I love
Pierce
that.
come out and be like, Seth, the people got to go home. All right, well, you know what? We're going to give you a match. Or not, no, not that, because that would actually ruin things. No. And then afterwards, I don't know, Cody's music hits. I'm not a booker. Moving on.
Denise, you're not the booker here. You're the ideas person. Like I'm, and that's what the role that I fulfill at WrestleTalk as well. A few weeks ago, I messaged Andy Datson on Discord, and I was like, "Wordle, but for wrestlers," and that was it. And Andy messaged me back saying, "I don't know how to do that." And I said, "Neither do I, Andy. I'm just the idea
not
guy."
too clever, Luke. Let me bury your idea for a second. This is why it's not too clever of an idea. Because the second Wordle came out, we got a Taylor Swift Wordle. Taylordle or Taylor, I can't say it.
Yeah.
So it's already been there, done that.
Dude, but when I came up with this idea, there wasn't a wrestling version of it. There is now. It's everyone inside the ropes, but there wasn't when I came up with this idea. And Andy said to me, "I don't know how to do that." And I said, "Neither do I, but I'm the ideas guy. I'm not here to fix the problem. I'm just here to create one."
So you're the person that says we want a machine that when I snap my fingers, my pizza comes out. You just can't make the machine.
That's exactly right. I'm the ideas guy.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm along those lines too.
Hang on. Andy says the Wordle League sucks, though. Did Andy say Andy did not. Andy keeps winning our Wordle League. Why would he say that it sucks? He wins like every single week. Maybe he thinks it sucks because he has got no competition in it.
I hate Wordle. I hate it so much.
I mean, I like the banter that we have in our Wordle League. That is pretty much the only reason I'm doing it now, because I enjoy I get to talk to Adam and Jenna like every day about
How
Wordle
many
and stuff.
leagues are you in? I feel like you're in so many leagues.
I mean, in the one league, we got our one Wordle work league, and
You got your dad's board game clubs. That's a league too.
That's not a league. That's just my board game dad.
You have a lot of group gatherings with a theme.
Yeah.
You're in a lot of clubs. I don't know how to feel about this.
I am in a lot of clubs.
You are.
Yeah,
no clubs.
Why have you got no clubs, Denise? What club do you want to be part of? Do you
I'm
want to be part of
the
our
Denise
Wordle club?
Salcedo works and gets paid club.
Denise, you could be part of our Wordle league if you want.
Oh God, no.
No.
I can't do no. I don't have time for Wordle.
Well, we do Hurdle as well. The music version of it.
How does that work?
So basically, you get given a second of a song, and if you don't get it, you can get another second, and then you
if
get
it's not Taylor Swift, I can't play.
I mean, spoilers for today's Hurdle. If anyone hasn't played it yet, it was Amy Winehouse today.
Oh, is it? They try to make me go to rehab, and I wouldn't.
It was the
heard
Valerie
that song
one.
Forever.
It was the
That's the
Valerie
only
one.
song I know. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't get it either. Like, I got it after 4 guesses because I needed to hear the actual beat. I didn't realize there was. Yeah, well, no, it was Valerie. There was so much chat at the start. There was so much banter at the start, being like, "Oh, we're ready to go now," and then just kicking. I'm like, I've only ever heard the radio edit of this, apparently. Anyway, Matthew Crozier says, "Hello from Northern Ireland. Love the podcast. What's your favorite rodeo main event? Mine is the steer wrestling." I don't know. You were the one who was talking about rodeos earlier.
Oh yeah, but I've never actually been to a rodeo. I was like, what? I've never been to a rodeo. I want to go to a rodeo. I've never been.
I've never been to one either, Denise. Have you ever done a like the bucking bronco thing?
The bull riding thing?
Yeah, the mechanical bull.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah, how good were you?
I'm pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I can hang on for a long time, and then eventually I just get dizzy, and I'm like, I do like a slow fall. Like, you know how some people get like thrown off? I do like a very small, like a very slow motion ladylike fall. Just be like, okay, that is it. I'll let
and just
go.
Datingly go off.
Yes, exactly. Damsel in distress. Like I hate when people just like fall like all ugly. I'm like, fall with some grace.
Fall with style, you idiots.
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of fun too. But it's not like I can hold on for a long time, but it's more of like my head starts to hurt. So I'm like, I'm done. I got to give up. So it's more like I give up. Yeah.
And Nate S. This is a brilliant Ultra Chat here. Denise is on WWE programming and working for Ring of Honor, getting paid by AEW. She is the Forbidden Door. Congratulations.
And GCW.
And she's GCW as well. Mission Pro. She is.
And the Observer
Door.
and Fightful.
That's right. You are. And on WrestleTalk, you're literally the Forbidden Door of all wrestling programming.
And I do videos with the WrestleTalk guys, the Cultaholic guys.
That's true, man. Who'd have thunk it?
Every Forbidden Door, I'm just like,
Just flying through with Denise-shaped holes.
You know, it's funny because a lot of people have been bringing that up, and I'm like, ha. That's it.
Well, it made me laugh. We have also finished up our poll for who should main event WrestleMania Night One. The people have spoken. Flair versus Rousey got 21% of the votes.
That's a little bit. What's the other percentage?
The Kevin Owens show, 26% of the votes. 52% of the votes said that Becky versus Bianca Belair should be the main event of Night One.
I win.
You did win. You won this league.
Woohoo. Go home. I could chin up for the rest of the day. I was going to say something, but I don't think I'm allowed to say it on this podcast.
We are all about terrible teasers today. Like, I've been teasing my super secret project that you don't care about, the guest that I'm not allowed to announce yet. You've now got a project you're not allowed to talk about.
No, that's not what I said.
What did you just say?
I said I was about to say something, but I can't say it on this podcast.
Why can't you say it on this podcast?
Because you get mad if I say bad words. But it wasn't a bad word. I just don't know if it's an appropriate word.
Okay.
Because, you know, okay, do you watch Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Do you watch that show?
I do not know.
Okay, then never mind. Moving
on. Anyway, Denise
instead of chin up, they say something else up, and I was going to say it, and then I was like, oh, I don't think that's appropriate.
Is it tits up?
Oh, what? Now you... Well, now you said it. Yeah, I didn't know it was appropriate to say tits on here or not. But now that you said it, tits up.
Based on your hand motion, like, is it tits up?
Yeah.
Oh, it's delightful. Denise, always a pleasure to have you here on the Team Danuke show on a Friday. What have you got you'd like to plug over on your own channel?
I got a lot of stuff coming up next week. So youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. And and follow me on Twitter because I'm like 600, 700 followers away from 60K.
Look at you go. I just passed 32,000. No, have I? I don't think I have, actually. I think I'm still at 31,000, which is I was there this time last year.
No, Lou, come on.
Let's have a look. What do I have?
You gotta hustle. You gotta hustle on that account.
31.4. Woohoo! Pleased with that, mate. It took me like 2 years to get past that 30 grand, like that 30,000. I'm pleased to be at 31.4. Thank you, every single one of you every single one of those 31.4 thousand people.
It took me less than a year. It took me less than a year to hit 50K.
Yeah, Denise, but that's because you tweet like during wrestling shows. I ain't watching wrestling shows live. I ain't tweeting during wrestling shows, and then I tweet about them the following day, and no one cares anymore.
They still care when I tweet the following day.
That's because people like you, Denise, and they care what you have to say.
That's why you got to have a bunch of followers, because some won't like you and some will.
Wow. So apparently Triple H has also just announced he's currently on First Take at the moment, ESPN's First Take, and he's announced that he's had his final match.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, well, now I'm depressed.
Yeah, Triple H is now, this is Sean Ross South, this is like 8 minutes ago. Triple H is now on First Take. He started to cough up blood, and Stephanie noticed it, leading to him getting checked out. After getting tested, he was in heart failure and had to go straight to the emergency room. Triple H says he's never wrestling again following his cardiac event in an interview. Triple H clip was gutting. He said that he was like being put out to pastures, wondering whether he'd wake up to be there for his daughters. Man alive, that's tough. Man,
Oh, that sucks.
that sucks so bad. I mean, hey, Denise, before we get out of here, then, do you want to? What Triple H match did everyone go and watch?
Shit, I love them all. You know, I'm a Triple H fan, man. I love so many of his matches, but like everything that he did with Mick Foley, I even loved his match with The Undertaker. Like, I love a lot of Triple H matches.
Yeah.
I like how you asked me that question because you're like, I know that you're more of a fan.
Well, no. I have said previously that I can count on one hand like Triple H matches that I think are actually worth checking out because I think a lot of them are, it's not my cup of tea. It's not my style. I think his WrestleMania matches are too long. However, his Hell in a Cell match against Undertaker at WrestleMania is one of the greatest wrestling matches of all time, as is his Royal Rumble 2000 street fight with Cactus Jack. Dang alive, those matches rule. And actually, his match with Undertaker at WrestleMania X7 is really underrated.
Yeah, I really love that match. That was one of my favorites.
Really underrated. And the match with Shawn, when Shawn comes back in 02, is banging. Yeah, go and watch some Triple H matches on the network, everyone. And if you're in the US and you got the sucky version of the network, then use Surfshark VPN.
We don't got the network at
all.
all.
That's what I mean. Use Surfshark VPN, get the proper version of the network. Right. Anyway, Denise, we'll bring this to a close. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you tomorrow. It'll be Pete Quinnell and Sat Niangi doing the SmackDown review. Is almost the go-home show. I'll see if they can add anything extra exciting to this WrestleMania card. Until then, take care, everyone. I've been Luco and DAD. That has been Denise Salcedo. That was Wrestling. Jam that jam.